Move on. We've got another question. It's from Keenan Fitzsimmons.
Professor Laurence Krauss, I'm a Year 8 student and I would love to pursue a career in the field of theoretical physics or cosmology. I'm also a devout Catholic and have a very strong faith. I am particularly interested in black holes and where we are situated in the universe. The great physicist Albert Einstein once said, "Science without religion is lame, religion without science is blind." Do you believe there is a place in this world where both science and religion can be compatible and work side by side?
And that's Keenan Fitzsimons. Apologies. Go ahead.
Well, it's a good question. First of all, I applaud your interest in that area, and I encourage you to continue it independent of your beliefs. Because the great thing about science is that the black holes exist or not, whether or not you believe in God. That's the wonderful thing about science. God's kind of irrelevant. Your beliefs don't really matter. And that's why there are scientists of all sorts. Some who are devout Catholics, some who a great many who don't believe. I think when you say, can science and religion be compatible, it's a complex question, because religion is a very diffuse thing. When people often take that remark of Einstein's, Einstein also said that the God of organized religion is a fairy tale, is a myth, is silly, and people should give it up like they did Santa Claus. I mean, so his view of religion was was sort of a Spinozan kind of religion, where the notion that there's order in the universe and we should revere that order in the universe. He never believed in a creator that had any personal interest in anyone. So when you talk about religion, you have to be more careful. The vague notion that the universe is amazing and maybe somehow that gives you meaning, that's not incompatible with science. What is incompatible with science is the doctrines of all the world's organized religions. Those are incompatible with science.
Can I just ask you a quick question? Would you take the view that science has not proven that God doesn't exist?
It could never prove. And that God is... Science can never disprove God. Because, you know, I could say that God created us here 12 seconds ago. How could I disprove that? With the memories of the wonderful discussion that we just had, you know, because it was God's kind of sadistic.
Believe me, it'll be on tape somewhere. We've seen that before.
And so I could never disprove that. So science can never disprove the notion of God. But the really interesting question is that we make it seem as if science, this question of God is important to science. It's irrelevant. Most scientists don't even think about God enough to know if they're atheists. When you go in the laboratory, you're working in the laboratory, and when devoutly Christian or Jewish or whatever, and I have many friends who are deeply religious, when they go in the laboratory, God goes out the window. So your religious beliefs should be separate from your interest in science, but it is disingenuous, and although it offends people, it's disingenuous to argue that the doctrines of the world's organized religions are consistent with science, because they're not.
All right. Anne Ali, what do you think about this?